Welcome into Weekly Champions right here on Wrestling Spotlight TV. You can see us anywhere you get your streaming apps, almost any smart TV, True TV Plus, right there on your home screen. Just download that app. You can take us with you anywhere you go, 24/7 professional wrestling. Been doing 24/7 pro wrestling for over a year and a half ahead of Busted Open 24/7. But congratulations to everybody at Busted Open as SiriusXM announced they're going to 24/7 pro wrestling as Fight Nation becomes Pro Wrestling Nation in just a few days on July 1st. So the sport is clipping, and it's another big mecca event week as WWE. It looked a little shaky, but they are in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia for a big SmackDown on Friday and the Night of Champions, which because of the time zone difference, you're going to be able to see it at 1 in the afternoon on the East Coast, at noon Central Time, and breakfast with the WWE on the West Coast. Gerald, Bentley here, joined by Sonny, the Man Eagle, Cain, and Sonny, it's getting more normal for the shows in Saudi Arabia. At first, it was really kind of jarring, but you can tell the fans truly are into it, and you're getting great matches. What do you think of the Saudi shows? Are you on board with them?
I'm on board with it. I think I said this a couple months ago on the air when we were talking about something like this. I said I think wrestling's going to be in the top tier sport now that it's going global more consistently than it has in years past. All of this sort of began with Starrcade '83 and Flair for the Gold. And interestingly enough, my grandfather, mother, and I talked about going as a family unit to it, and we decided to take a night out because we had actually gone around the circuit that same month, and that turned out to be the biggest show ever. So my grandfather went, and he's in the crowd in the show. So that's how it got.
You don't have to go back that far. Go back to the 80s. We had Keith Elliott Greenberg on talking about WrestleMania 2, bigger, better, badder, how it changed everything. And
it was awesome.
I don't think anyone thought at that time that you were going to be seeing the whole world connecting around pro wrestling. But that is truly what you see. I mean, heck, AEW just got done with the sellout at Arena, Mexico. WWE now has acquired AAA, and they had their record YouTube views largely because of the AAA audience tuning in to see Ahilo del Vikingo, the AAA champion, taking on Chad Gable, not El Grande Americano. But that's what you're seeing, and international stars showing up everywhere. So, yeah, it's definitely one of the major sports. And I think the simple fact that you have multiple 24-hour, 7-day-a-week pro wrestling channels on TV. The NWA just launched one on Roku service. Probably, heck, on multiple services are probably going to be right next to us.
That's awesome.
It's 24/7 pro wrestling. Satellite radio going to it. And if you want to, you can watch some great programming now, literally every night of the week. WWE on Monday, NXT on Tuesday, AEW on Wednesday, TNA on Thursday, WWE again on Friday. Most weeks, if there isn't a scheduling conflict, AEW on Saturday. And then on Sunday, hey, take your pick. You got Glory Pro out of St. Louis, you got GCW, you have New Japan, you have Ring of Honor, Progress. I mean, there's so much. You literally can't watch it all, which is good because that gives us something to talk about because we can help break down some of the stuff that you don't get a chance to watch. I do have to say, as we seg into talking about the Night of Champions, I thought the Monday Night Raw this week was one of the best Monday Night Raws that WWE's put out in years. I mean, you had pay-per-view level matches
Yeah.
and advanced stories. It was really good programming, and they're doing a great job. And I think we're seeing the two big promotions right now are kind of egging each other on and feeding each other as they're pushing to do more, which is great. I mean, that's something we've talked about a lot that was missing after WCW went away.
And it gives the worker, as I've said before on the show many times, more outlets to work in. Now, I was a little bit ahead of my time when I turned down the WWF offer, but my point was if I was going to lose, I was going to lose under my own name, and I was going to continue to build the story of who I was. And Rick Steamboat got that and understood that, but, it just wasn't heard of. When they came knocking, they expected you to jump up and go. And R-Truth has just shown the world that you don't have to do that either still, that you can go to another outfit. And rumor was R-Truth had a deal in the making in the short time out that he took before going back to WWE. And I don't believe it was part of the WWE overall show. I don't think Triple H had anticipated the hype behind it when he let him go. So
I think they got forced into that, but they made it work. I mean, they got the best out of it.
I think he covered himself when he asked if everyone enjoyed the show. I don't think he did, but anyway, it's good for ratings. That's right. It's great for ratings, and I think it's fantastic that the business is expanding, and it's just going to keep going. This is the beginning. This is the beginning of the avalanche of Major League Pro Wrestling continuing to grow.
Yeah. So you weren't ready to be the Tar Heel in WWF or
no,
what
sir.
else? I mean, they had Duke the Dumpster Drozy. They had the Repo Man. They had TJ Cooper, the plumber.
I wasn't ready to go out looking ridiculous. I spent 2 years on the independents, going from losing steadily, which is what most of us do starting out in the business anyway, to starting to climb the ladder up and tell the story of who I was. So I have very few regrets about turning them down at that time. And if they come knocking today and ask me to commentate, I'd jump on it. That'd be entirely different, but
sure.
But it's building your legacy and how you want to be remembered. So, and Dusty Rhodes had issues with wearing polka dots, and he talked about that all the way through his time in WWE. I just wasn't going to be made out to look ridiculous, not on purpose.
Well, we'll get back to that as we get towards one of the main events of the weekend, because there's definitely a tie-in. Starting out, I mean, it's a 2-day event. You're going to see SmackDown. It is tape delayed, but same day tape delayed because, again, it's a huge time zone difference from Riyadh to the U.S., about 8 hours. SmackDown pay-per-view level matches, again, PLE matches. Last woman standing, Tiffany Stratton taking on Nia Jax. Have you been okay so far? Have you been happy with the Tiffany Stratton championship run, Sonny?
I have. She's taken on anybody and everybody, and that's the sign of a great worker. She may have overextended herself with Nia Jax. I've stood up for Nia before here on the broadcast, and I think not Nia, for a non-traditional athlete, get ready, move, and get the job done in the ring. She looks like a power lifter to me almost, and she doesn't burn out in the ring. She's the same. She has the same amount of stamina from the time she enters the square circle to the time it's over, and that's the makings of a champion. And I think at some point Nia Jackson will be a champion. A heavyweight champion. I think it's
She
it's
could,
in the making.
she could definitely win it again. I had a chance to talk with Mojo Rawley, who is actually Nia's agent, Dean Mudati. Mojo Rawley, he has Paragon Sports, and he actually is the agent, legitimately, not storyline, for Nia Jax. And I had
I
a
heard
chance to
that.
talk with Mojo as Nia was coming up towards her free agency period after being one of the COVID cut downs. And they brought her back. And it's been a great move because she definitely adds an element to the women's roster that they just don't have. Because, I mean, here, realistically, and we'll get to talking about it with the Queen at the Ring, there's only so many people that can go up against a Jade Cargill or a Rhea Ripley. And you go, hey, man, they may overpower her. Nia's one of those. She is as they call her, the irresistible force. So we'll see there. Who do you think holds on to the title on the Weekend of Champions? Tiffany Stratton, or does Nia get it back? Because Tiffy cashed in the Miz Money in the Bank on Nia last year to get that title.
I'm gonna go on to them and say Nia Jackson. She's at the top of her game. She's confident. She handles the mic real well. I've enjoyed her ring interviews and scrimmages with the other girls, and she's just proven that she's a force to be reckoned with. From earlier this year to now, her confidence just keeps going boom. And when they do that, that's usually the sign of a title change somewhere in the near future. So
I'll give
I
you.
don't see her fame now.
I'll give you in the near future. I'm going to say Tiffany holds on just a little bit longer, though, but definitely should be a competitive match. This one, the next one, I could absolutely see changing. International superstar Gulia, freshly moved up to the main roster. She takes on maybe the accidental champion, Zelina Vega, who won her title because Chelsea Green got distracted and got herself eliminated from the match, and
So
Zelina Vega got one more shot at her and then beat her in that rematch to become the second ever women's U.S. champion. I think it's just a matter of time before Julia is a champion in the WWE, and Friday's as good a day as any. So I'm going with the beautiful disaster Julia. I think she wins.
I think Julia's there. I like Vega. I like Vega's energy in the ring. I like the fact that it was such an upset, and anytime somebody has that kind of a draw to themselves, you've got to, or I go in favor of who the champion is at that point in time, and I'm going for Vega one more time.
Okay, so we're
She,
splitting out all these.
she to me, she somewhat needs to win to continue her story, and I do think it'll drop eventually. But I think it's a bit too soon to drop right now. And that title, that title in the men and the women's division typically drops, boom, boom, boom. So it's just a gut feeling. I think Vega holds on to it.
Well, and Zelina Vega is, I mean, she is your prototype fan favorite baby face. Everybody can get behind her. I mean, the fans love her, and it was great to see her get a big win and be a champion in the WWE. So, yeah, I don't have a problem either way, but Julia, the March is coming. She's right up there with Stephanie Vacour, right up there with Roxanne Perez. It's just a matter of time. They will be major champions in the WWE. It's just a matter of time.
Sure.
Tag team title also being defended on SmackDown. The Street Profits taking on the Wyatt Six. No magic so far in this turn by the Wyatt Six. Just hard tag team wrestling. Dexter Lumis, Joe Gacy. They're the members of the Wyatt Six that are going at the tag title. I just don't see them winning. The Street Profits have been a fixture in tag team wrestling in the WWE for years. The only thing that seems to slow down the Street Profits is, does Montez Ford ever get a single run? And hasn't happened as of yet, but big matchup, high profile match for the Wyatt Six. They're trying to get them going. I just don't see it. What do you think, Sonny?
I think the Profits probably hold on. They've got a huge following. They're liked in the WWE. They've been there a minute, and I think they will drop them eventually. But again, they've got a huge draw, and they're the heat in the ring. So I don't see it happening right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just, as the Wyatt Six, does that connect with you? Are you into the supernatural, unusual powers and kind of the extension of the Fiend with Bo Dallas as Uncle Howdy?
I'm aware of some of that, but I think that's where a lot of fans go and say, well, the sport's fake, but because they take something so abstract and put it into a everyday match event or a big match event, and then they go, well, that's kind of an overkill. At least that's the way we used to talk about it when I was a fan in the crowd many moons ago.
Yeah,
and
it just doesn't seem to fit right now with the rest of the presentation, because
exactly, that's the point I was trying to make. So it's just, it's like, why are we here?
yeah,
I don't get the WWE's push on them right now.
it's been,
like you said.
it's been fairly minor. This is the highest profile matchup they've had since a couple of years ago. So we'll see. Okay, now moving on to the main show, we do get the first PLE match for Karrion Kross in a couple of years. He takes on Sami Zayn. Karrion Kross has been making a little bit of an impact, having some good vignettes, trying to get under the skin of people. Is he under the skin of Sami Zayn? Is this where Sami Zayn can show that he is ready for a championship again after knocking out Gunther for the Intercontinental title? Or can Karrion Kross continue the momentum he started building up with Bloodsport and WrestleMania?
I'm going with Sami Zayn. I think he's got his mind finally straightened out. I think he's channeling his energy, and all that really helps, believe it or not, when you're in the ring and you're doing your deal. Sure. I don't see him progressing this far like he has to turn back now. And he has his mind set. He knows what he wants, and the fans just get behind him like crazy. I mean, the fans would take him home.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're going to see a haluva kick here, and Sami Zayn gets the win. Although Karrion Kross has been doing some really good promo work and has really made the most of the limited time he gets. Liv Morgan being out creates this match as Rhea Ripley takes on Raquel Rodriguez. Rhea even said she's been dealing with a back issue since 2021 because of a match against Raquel Rodriguez. Back, any other injury notwithstanding, I don't see any way that Rhea Ripley doesn't just run through Raquel Rodriguez. I'll go with Rhea Ripley. Only exception being a Roxanne Perez blatant interference that, maybe convolutes the match a little bit. But I think Mommy is winning this one.
Mommy wins. I agree with that. Mommy's on a run too, and she's wanting her strap back. And you just got so many competitors out there, men and women now, who are standing up, and not to get distracted here in the middle of a talk. But that's what Charlotte Flair has been in awe of since her return to wrestling, is how much steeper the competition's gotten while she was away rehabbing. So the women have really stepped up, and I think Rhea Ripley is going to continue to be on the roll all this year. So
Yeah, I'm with you there. I don't see Raquel winning, and then we get into the controversy of maybe adopting the Freebird rule, and Roxanne Perez and Raquel will be defending the tag titles. Chance for Rhea to pick up a title, pick up a partner, and take them out. So that's where the extension, that's where the twist could come in, that Roxanne Perez interferes in there, and then that brings about a tag team title match. The men's U.S. title on the line. Jacob Fatu, the Samoan werewolf, all gas, no brakes, taking on Solo Sikoa. Solo saying he loves Jacob. He wants to be there to help him. And I think Jacob's realized that Solo is just kind of a weasel and just wants to use him as a lackey. Unless Solo's lackeys, JC Mateo, Jeff Cobb in a previous life, and maybe the Tongans interfere, I don't see any way that Jacob Fatu isn't crushing Solo in this match.
Jacob Fatu, he's all gas and no brakes, and he once the turbo engines in his body start hitting, he's unstoppable. I did pick up this week in breaking news that the tribal chief is going to be returning here shortly, and may return as a manager this time around. So I
New Shield, right?
That said the tribal chief would be going for Jacob and wanted a conversation with him about having his back. So that would be interesting to see them pair up. I think.
Yeah, well, he's coming back soon. I think Roman Reigns will be back.
It's been rumored he'll be on Monday Night Raw. So
okay, well there we go. That's even sooner. Now talking about the women's division, there's a storm front rolling into Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, as Jade Cargill has maybe her best shot as a WWE superstar to capture one of the women's titles. She takes on a returning Auska, the Empress of Tomorrow. Only 2 matches in the last year. Coming back off the knee injury. Auska against Jade Cargill. Auska, I think, is getting jaded. This seems like a march towards the women's championship. Tiffany Stratton's title, probably. And then Naomi getting involved, too. So you continue that story. But Queen of the Ring, I'm saying Jade Cargill.
I agree with you there. I don't think it's going to be anything less than that. She's trying to claw her way back into the center of things, and that's what you got to do. You got to take those matches. That's what Charlotte Flair's doing. That's what Mommy's doing, and you got to put yourself out there to get. And I've watched Jade on some shows here lately and seen her interview. She's strong. She's still got her ego intact, and that's what it takes to go over, as I've said many times before. And I have a prediction to make. I think Charlotte Flair and Bliss will tag team at some point, or rival. But I think Bliss misses Flair's presence being around her.
Yeah,
and
that seems like that's coming.
Them go at it back and forth and argue like people do. So brings a reality check to it, kind of.
Mm-hmm. Well, and another skill that Jade Cargill has that could come in handy, she is a child psychologist, so she can help break down some of the psychological issues too.
Absolutely.
The King of the Ring, following a tremendous TV main event on Monday Night Raw. If you haven't watched it, just search on YouTube. They put that match out with Cody Rhodes going up against Jey Uso. Jey Uso doing a crossroads, battling submission holds. Just a terrific match. Ended with sportsmanship. Cody advancing to the King of the Ring to take on another former partner way back in Legacy, as Cody Rhodes takes on the Viper Randy Orton. This is for a shot at one of the heavyweight titles coming up at SummerSlam. There's a underlying controversy that WWE has been too predictable, but I think this is a predictable you want. Let's get that rematch with Cody and John Cena coming up at SummerSlam. I think this is where Cody Rhodes gets his chance to tell a new chapter of the story, takes out Randy Orton, and he's got his championship shot coming up.
I agree with that scenario. Randy's trying to bounce back, but it seems like it's taking a little longer than maybe he anticipated. And Cody's been there a minute, and he's got his eyes set. So I don't think there's a chance in this world that Randy Orton can beat Cody Rhodes at this particular point in time.
Should be a great match, though.
Oh, it is. It'll be athletic for sure.
Then the final match, the main event, John Cena, fresh off of his version of the pipe bomb promo, as CM Punk laid out cold after going through a table, just like John Cena was 15 years ago. Yeah, lots of symmetry. John Cena, CM Punk over their career, 6 wins, 6 losses, and 1 draw in their one-on-one matchups. This one is for the Undisputed Championship. I think John Cena wins probably through a little bit of chicanery, a little bit of shenanigans, maybe using the belt, a little outside interference. R-Truth may even cost CM Punk the title, but I don't think the retirement tour ends with John Cena dropping the title in Saudi Arabia. He knocks out CM Punk and continues on to the next event. Are you excited to see the tie broken? 6 wins, 6 losses, 1 draw.
I am. I've been rooting for CM Punk ever since he returned and when he was out in Hollywood doing his thing. But I don't think it's quite the right time yet. I think they're going to continue to build the story of CM Punk. And I think John Cena holds on to his title. I do think R-Truth may run an interference and attack John Cena again, as he's been doing previously on the past couple of shows. And I like that approach because it shows the realness of it. I mean, when titles are on the line and you got a chance to take that step, you'll do whatever. And there are no real friends in the game of pro wrestling, even in real life, when money's up and belts are on the table. So it's every man for himself.
Classic heel champion move, too, to get yourself disqualified.
Well, I don't think I think if it was in a cage, I'd be saying CM Punk, but since it's not this time, I'm going to have to go with John Cena, and I don't think he loses overseas. I think when he loses, it'll be stateside. So
I'm thinking it's going to be at MetLife Stadium in New York coming up in August. Hey, so that is Night of the Champions and SmackDown. So basically a 2-part premium live event from WWE. You can see Night of Champions. It'll be streaming on Peacock if you're watching us in the US. If you're watching us in Canada, it's going to be on Netflix. But just adjust it. You can stream it whenever, even though it's going to be in the morning on Saturday for quite a bit of the country. But some great matches. It should be a terrific event. We did see a couple other things happen during the course of Monday Night Raw. Chad Gable looks like he's going to be out for a while. The injuries are hitting him. Has to get shoulder surgery. And Sonny, this is crazy. I'm sure it's just coincidental. El Grande Americano is also going to be out with a shoulder injury for a few months.
It's coincidental.
Yeah, hard to believe. But Penta taking out Chad Gable in the back. So Chad Gable going to be on the shelf for a little bit. And man, he may be the early season MVP for WWE. It's unfortunate that he's gotten bit by the injury bug.
I agree. I'd also like to say I'm real pleased and surprised at how Penta is getting such a major push. I mean, since his arrival in the WWE, he's done nothing but climb the mountain, and the stars and fanfare alike have jumped on him and continue to help push him. And I think this is going to be his breakout year in WWE. I don't see him going anywhere but up to main event status and all that good stuff. That's my prediction for Penta.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like we're setting up a matchup going up against Seth freaking Rollins. Seth Rollins went right up to him and said, "Stay out of my way." And Penta's not going to stay out of his way, right? Zero, Miero.
No, it's
fear. He's going to go right at him.
And you know that's coming. So
that's about the extent of my Spanish, though. And then I did want to hit on a couple of ticket sales stories. Eric Bischoff and Hulk Hogan's Freestyle Wrestling Association, their first show is set at an arena I know full and well. It's where I went to college and was on the basketball team, the Wallstein Center at Cleveland State University. It's a 13,500 seat arena in downtown Cleveland. Hulk and Eric Bischoff so far have a combined 350 tickets sold for their freestyle wrestling with storyline promotion they're starting up. Do you think there's a market for professional amateur style wrestling, which is what their promotion's going to be? I really don't. I think MMA's taking that.
The time is now, but it's going to suck some money out of them in getting it running. So I hope they can turn it back around at some point and pull money in. I don't think the American fans are ready for that, like Japanese fans would be at this point in time, maybe.
There's moves that you assume are legal if you're not used to watching amateur wrestling. Having competed in it and then play-by-play in college, there's moves in amateur wrestling that the casual fan thinks, "Oh yeah, they can do that." You can't.
No.
I mean, a Death Valley driver is a fireman's carry standing up. Fireman's carry is it's a staple move in amateur wrestling, but you can't stand up and do a fireman's carry, which would be a Death Valley driver. You get disqualified. So right. I think the closest thing you're going to get to high level professional amateur style freestyle wrestling is in fact MMA, because a lot of MMA grapplers are former collegiate wrestlers. I mean, so I don't know.
I
just seems
for
like
a year here in Wayne County, and
yeah,
I had some exposure to that art, and it's tough. You go in there, even with my background, I didn't go wide open because I didn't want to hurt anybody. But they go out now. I mean, it's the real thing. I'm real surprised in televised MMA that they've not been taken off the air for how brutal it gets from time to time.
Yeah. So, yeah, but we'll see. We'll keep a look at that, because that arena, to have it look like it's anywhere remotely full, you're going to need 3,000-4,000 people and then block off sections. So it's going to be a challenge. We'll see if Eric Bischoff and Hulk can promote their way up with that. Then one other ticket sale story. All In is coming to Global Life Stadium in Arlington, Texas, the Texas Rangers Dome Stadium. It's coming up on July 12th. We'll be there. I'll be there covering All In. We're going to have quite a bit of content building up to it. Really looking forward to it. All In was amazing last year in London. I'm sure this show will match it. Announced a few more matches just this week, as the Hurt Syndicate is going to take on Jet Speed, Speedball Mike Bailey, and the Jet Kevin Knight, going after the AEW Tag Team titles against Shelton Benjamin, the Standard of Excellence, and the Almighty Bobby Lashley. And another tag match announced: Will Ospreay and Swerve taking on the Young Bucks, the EVPs. So the card's building up, plus Casino Gauntlet matches for the men and the women. So it's going to be a big event, and they're going to keep adding matches. It looks like we're going to get Athena, the Fallen Goddess, your Ring of Honor's women's champion, defended against Thunder Rosa in her home state of Texas. Yeah, lots of great matches coming up, and I think it's going to set up the rest of the year for AEW. About just under 20,000 tickets sold so far. But what I wanted to say as a public service announcement for wrestling fans who were, and I'll say, justifiably concerned with ticket prices for WrestleMania. I think it was over-reported because there was plenty of wrestling events you could go to surrounding Mania for very reasonable prices. Bloodsport was $39 for great tickets at the Palms, and maybe it was as noteworthy as any of the other events that happened around WrestleMania. Progress Wrestling had great cards, GCW did, and you could get into WrestleMania for less than some of the tickets that were really super publicized as being excessively expensive, you could say. I had great seats for about the same price as what I paid in Philadelphia the year previous. But if that's your concern, your answer to go see the height of professional wrestling in America in a major stadium at a balanced budget price is AEW All In. You can get tickets in the club level of the lower deck right now. Go to Ticketmaster, go to StubHub, go to SeatGeek. $75. You're in the club level of the lower level of Globe Life Stadium, which is slightly smaller than Legion Field. And you're getting those tickets for probably $500 less a piece than the WWE tickets. So take advantage of it. There's easy to get to. Yeah, a couple $100, you're going to have a great time. Definitely take advantage of it. Go to AEWTix.com. No endorsement. They're not paying us, but you definitely should take advantage of going to see that.
Absolutely.
Is like it or not, learn to love it because it's the best thing going in town today. Woo! Okay, let's go to our champion of the week here as we wind it down on Wrestling Spotlight, coming to you on True TV Plus, on Carbon TV, on Sports.TV, and Watchy. Plenty of great matches this week, but only one champion.
Come see me, Nixie XS, the Versace of violence, the main girl, the height of fashion, on Wrestling Spotlight TV, on True TV Plus.
So, Sonny, who's your champion of the week this week?
So my champion of the week this week, very much to my surprise, I've been watching him a couple months now, is MJF of the Hurt Syndicate. He is doing it all to reinvent himself, but he's continuing to maintain a presence in the ring through wrestling. And I think Bobby Lashley's finally starting to take a bit of a shine to him as such. And that just continues to be in MJF's favor. Runner-up this week was Aleister Black. I hope I'm saying his name right. WWE is just giving him a huge push, and I'm not entirely sure. I'm going to have to research where he came from and where he's been, but he's another breakout in WWE like Penta. And usually when the promotion gets behind someone like that, there's a major plan for him. Same thing with CM Punk. That's who we've talked about all year long, and look where he's at now. So that's my pick of the week. MJF hurts him.
Okay. And Aleister Black doing well in and outside of the ring because he is also Mr. Zelina Vega. If you're not aware of that. Yeah. MJF beating Mystico. And he was enough of a jerk, enough of a heel, got enough of a reaction. And this is never accepted, but in Mexico, they really take a lot of pride in their mask. MJF got chased to the hotel. Security had to protect him because the Mystico fans were pretty upset with Maxwell Jacob Friedman. So
yeah.
he did have a
that.
at least. Yeah. I'm gonna go with Jade Cargill because she has gone to WWE, and despite all the negative talk, she's doing what she did when she was the longest running TBS champion in AEW, and is now knocking on the door of being a undisputed women's champion with Queen of the Ring coming up. So I'll go with Jade Cargill. And
what was your shock of the week?
Huh?
What was your shock of the week? Do you have a shock of the week?
I'll say Chad Gable getting taken out by Penta.
My shock of the week was the Hangman walking out on the Mexico show of AEW and speaking in Spanish.
Perfect Spanish, yeah.
Throughout his entire ring interview, could not understand a word of it, but it went over really well. And I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, and that's a good one because it's blending reality with the show too, because he grew up on a working tobacco farm and learned to speak Spanish by talking with the people that he was working with on his family's farm.
That's awesome.
And the promoter of CMLL was surprised too, and definitely wants Hangman back there more, competing in Arena Mexico. So I think we'll see the Hanger taking a few trips to Mexico as both promotions get their Mexican counterpart kind of tied together. So we'll keep seeing CMLL stars in AEW, and they'll be a part of Forbidden Door coming up in August as well. Well, with that, we'll go ahead and wrap it up for the week here on Wrestling Spotlight. Enjoy the Night of Champions and stay tuned for the build-up to All In. If you haven't gotten tickets yet, it's a 44,000 seat stadium, so there aren't bad seats. It's about 16,000 less seats than Allegiant. So if you were at WWE sitting in the third deck and thought, hey, these are pretty good seats, every seat in Global Life Field is better than those seats. So take advantage of it and check out All In while you have a chance to in Arlington, Texas. Should be a terrific show coming up on July 12th. King, Queen of the Ring, Night of Champions coming up this Saturday. Sonny, if people want to keep in touch with you throughout the week, how should they do that?
A couple of places. They could get me at Sonny Cain, Dennis Cain on YouTube. They can get me at Sonny Cain at Real Sonny Cain on X. They can also get me at Sonny Cain, the Man Eagle on Facebook.
Great. Well, until next week, and we'll wrap up what happens at Night of the Champions. Stay tuned right here to Wrestling Spotlight TV. We got some great action coming up from Pro South, from Glory Pro, from POW, from UPW, from Fountain City Pro, from Central States Wrestling, Wrestle Arts, and more right here on Wrestling Spotlight TV. Have a great week. We'll see you in the ring.